Wait for the Johnson and Johnson.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
All right, Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We're getting everything situated. We got our guests in the house. You know how these stars are, Omaha. You know how these stars are. They got their own nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositional phrases, all yes and predicates. To introduce themselves, I'm gonna let her get right into the dialogue because you know how these stars are. You only got so much time. We got her at least a good 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And then we have some rappers bomb rushing here. Yeah.
Oh, we got some rappers coming?
Yeah, well, actually, comedians.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably need to holler to the comedians. Tell some jokes on your candidate, other candidates, without a doubt. So I think I got all the social media started. Let me make sure I get everything started. All right, Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We have our candidate, our MAYORAL. You know, I used to stutter a long time ago. So that word, we'll just say mayor. Candidate for mayor of Omaha, Jasmine Harris. She is trailblazing. I've been watching from afar. I was in the mix for a little bit, but sometimes I keep telling y'all every Tuesday, tell True Tuesday, can't lie to yourself. So sometimes you got to yield and let others lead, without a doubt, especially when the skill set is there. And obviously we have the skill set. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself, and then we'll get right into the dialogue. So how you doing, mademoiselle?
I'm doing well, William. Thank you for having me on today. Again, hi, everyone. My name is Jasmine Harris. She, her, hers. And I am mayor for candidate of Omaha in 2021 election cycle.
Okay, cool. Now, what has inspired you to run for mayor?
Yeah, so I'm running because I am a firm believer that everyday people like you and I have the solutions to the challenges that our city is facing. Mm-hmm. My background is in public health, criminal justice reform, and policy advocacy. And so I've been in the community doing work around systems and trying to improve from a systemic level and volunteer work and things like that. And day in and day out, I see the same struggles over and over again. And it's our leadership in the city has failed to address those challenges. And I'm saying, I'm encouraging people to get involved in the local politics. How do we change our government? How do we change our community? Let's do it together. But at the end of the day, we need someone in office who understands what we're going through, who understands what we're fighting for. So that way we can start creating change from that system level as well.
Okay. Give some background because, some people are familiar with you. Mm-hmm. Some people aren't. People pop on and say, damn, who's that? But at the same time, like I say, you actually been working. When you're doing work, sometimes you're in silos and everybody don't see your work.
Yes.
So give us a background. Are you from here? What schools? What's your educational path? Your maybe your career fair path and how that led to your political path.
Yes, most definitely. So born and raised in North Omaha, went to Northwest High School. And somebody asked me the other day, oh, so you lived out there? No, I was bused. But we know what busing is about. So went to Northwest 94 to 98. So yeah. And after that, it took a minute. I ended up going to New Mexico State down in Las Cruces for about a year and a half. Then I moved back home and finished out here at UNO. I got my undergrad in biology. I was a pre-med major. So I was headed to be a doctor.
Okay.
But during that time, I was in an unhealthy relationship, got into some troubles, and had contact with law enforcement, which put me on sent my life on a different trajectory. And I had to spend that time figuring out what I was going to do with my life and moving forward. I had a young son at the time, and I was out of work for almost 2 years. Mm-hmm. And during that time frame, I ended up just saying, hey, let's go back to school. I didn't have a felony conviction, drug conviction that prevented me from getting grants or anything like that.
Right.
So I ended up going to enrolling in the UNMC UNO Master Public Health Program. And in there, I fell in love with prevention and what public health is about. It's addressing underlying conditions and how do we keep people from having to come down the line, whether it's to the healthcare system, whether it's to the court system, whatever that may look like. Mm-hmm. And after I graduated with my master's in public health, I began addressing substance use in our community. So I worked with LiveWise Coalition. I worked at Creighton University in the Cardiac Center. doing prevention work on tobacco. So I partnered and did coalition building with MOTAC, which is the Metro Omaha Tobacco Action Coalition. And all of my focus had always been on communities of color, North Omaha specifically, and how we are ensuring that our people get the resources that they need, the services that they need, because we know health disparities, one, and how drug use and tobacco use affects our young people. And so did a lot of education around that, and initiatives that came from that were like our tobacco-free parks policy that we were working on, and smoke-free homes, things like that.
Okay.
And through all that regular work, I was learning all about policy advocacy and how those movements really use policy to move forward. Right. And I took that skill set and that experience and used it in my volunteer work when I was working on criminal justice reform, because I had contact with law enforcement and in the court systems. I was advocating for people with criminal histories before I even knew what advocating was, right. Because I was advocating for myself, advocating for people who I knew, and took that and volunteering with the Urban League of Nebraska Young Professionals. I became the chair of their civic engagement committee. And I remember the first meeting I was at, and I asked them, I said, does anyone know what Ban the Box is? And they were like, no, what's that? And so I was like, okay, this is my vehicle to create change through how we get more people engaged in creating policy work.
Let me guess what it is. I worked inside. I'm a former probation officer. It's actually being in a cell, or some people maybe if they get in trouble, they get what do you call that in solitary confinement. Is that it? Is that the box?
No, Ban the Box is when you're back home in the community and you got to check the box on your job applications, on your rental applications that say I have a felony conviction or I have a criminal history that prevents you from even being able to do things outside of life. We tell people serve your time and come be a productive resident, but there are so many things and barriers that are in place that prevent people from doing that. And so knowing that was like, okay, this was a movement going across the country, and we had a senator in that year who was bringing that to the Nebraska legislature. And so was advocating for us to remove that from private applications, because years prior, the former governor Heineman, he had banned the box on applications for all public offices. So whether it was a state, county, or city jobs and government, that was removed. So we were trying to push it to private sector as well.
Are you talking about as far as not checking the box on a felony or misdemeanor?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. And so when I was talking with Urban League Young Professionals at that time, so it was like, okay, what we're going to do, since I'm chairing this committee, we're going to curate a whole year's worth of events where we're bringing awareness to the community that barriers that people face when they're coming back home after incarceration. And so we partnered with a lot of people where we did film viewings, had panels, talks. We worked with the Douglas County Youth Corrections. We sent a teaching artist in to talk with the youth, and we did an art gallery based on pieces they created, which was based on a documentary called Herman's House. We was looking at Herman Wallace, who spent 41 years in solitary confinement down in Angola. And it was to define themselves versus being confined. And this artwork was beautiful. And we did an art show down at the Carver Bank. And after that, everybody was like, so what are we going to do next? And so we get people down to Lincoln so that we can actually teach people our democratic and legislative processes that happen in our state. Black people, our Black and brown people. And that's what we created. And leading the helm with that, it's going into its fifth year now. I know they didn't get to do it this year because of COVID, but each year it grew, where we were taking adults and students down to Lincoln to get hands-on experience on how we are the second house here in our legislature. A lot of the work that was going on in that, and ended up finding my dream job working at the place I am now, which is RISE. When they came here, it was Defy Ventures, but we broke away from the national organization. But we go into 7 of the 10 state facilities with our program. It's a 6-month program where we're working on character development, employment readiness, and entrepreneurship. And individuals who complete our program end up a certificate of completion from UNO's College of Business. And when we were able to bring people in, we were bringing in upwards of 40 volunteers from the community to go in what we call our business coaching days. So this was like you have a circle of people, our what we call them builders, our program participants, because they're building their lives, they're building their careers, they're building their reconnecting with their family, things like that. And we would bring our volunteers in and we would do mock interviews, resume reviews, and looking at business ideas and giving them that feedback, because they don't have internet inside. So It's like market research coming right to your door. And during all that, we also did empathy activities, because what we want to break down is that people see people for who they are, regardless of if they're incarcerated or outside, and it's seeing people for people. So we really built up on that and getting people to check their biases, see where they have those biases are.
Right.
And then on the second half of that 6 months of program, we would do a cap and gown graduation, bring volunteers back in and do a Shark Tank style pitch competition where the top 5 people would get IOUs of funding, whether they were releasing, it could go towards reentry or starting a business when they were ready to, or if they had longer sentences or life sentences and they won, they can pick a charity to send the money to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What's the all of that? And I've been analyzing the American candidates, and minors in behavioral science, and public health is a basic correlation of that, because the health department indicated that racism,
Public health crisis,
and which is also, I believe that Black people are dealing with post-traumatic slavery, and so some of these variables are because we're former slaves. And you mentioned the institutions are still set up to keep us in second class. What's the most important purpose of a mayor? I know everybody want to talk about streets. I know, but I'd rather have give me the cobble streets, and I'll give me a buggy and a horse. We'll have no pollution. So I don't want to talk about that, because you talked about the human side of the mayor and the consistent lack of resources that have been put in certain areas of cities and left out in certain areas of the city. What's the most important purpose of the mayor?
For me,
and will you fulfill that?
I'm gonna tell you yes on the front end. Yes, I'm gonna fulfill it. For me, the most important duty of a mayor is to set the vision for the city when they come in, and to make sure that our city is able to achieve that. Yes, I understand it's budgeting. Yes, I understand it's addressing the city services. But when you're sitting in a city where people feel like they're left out, where there's no progression, you have to have a bold vision. You have to be able to lay what that vision is going to be and be able to make those connections. I'm saying I'm running for mayor also because I know at an administrative level, you need someone in place that's going to ensure that whatever legislation is being passed, so with city ordinances and things like that, that they're going to ensure that they're being implemented, and that we are addressing how we are getting ourselves out of these challenges that we need to face year after year. And I know you don't want to talk about streets and you don't want to talk about trash. Well, and that's what everybody wants to talk about, because we have been conditioned to talk about this thing every cycle. And we have more pressing issues that we need to address. And I think for me, the mayor's most important thing that they should be doing is ensuring that the vision of this whole city is moving forward.
Now, Omaha is very unique. We got the greatest. I feel we got the greatest. The greatest come from here. You one of the greatest. And we got the most millionaires per capita. We got a few billionaires around here, but yet we're the poorest. We got 150 CEOs that have advocated that they want to do something for the people. How can we make those abstract promises to concrete concrete movement where we develop businesses, we're having Black vendors participating in the corporate cycle in regards to doing business with them. We're having dollars directed towards entrepreneurs that want to start, so we can keep those young people here. And then also we're being bold and making sure that we reinvest in 24th Street like they did in other areas.
Yes, some of what you mentioned earlier, silos. Everybody's working in silos, and you mentioned how we have millionaires and billionaires here. We have to ensure that we are breaking down those silos. We are a rich city in resources and services. People just don't know where they are and how to get to them. So we need to start having a strategic plan that is actionable. A lot of people, there are a lot of people who meet. There are a lot of meetings that go on. And what we need to do is stop meeting just to meet and talk and start putting action in place. One of my top strengths is strategic. And I'm very strategic in how I maneuver things. And I've been doing strategic planning with organizations and things like that. So bringing that strength in as well, because if we're going to actually put plans in place, we need to bring everybody to the table. So the coalition building background that I have, I know about bringing people from sectors together to actually move things forward. So that's what we have to do. When we're talking about our best and our brightest are leaving, we need them on these boards that are actually making decisions. So not the boards that are just having meetings, but the boards that are actually doing things. So like there's a transit authority board that should be happening right now. So it's putting in our young people in those places so they can be a part of imagining and redesigning what Omaha is going to look like.
Right.
And when you're talking about investments and things, it has to be intentional. And on the forum that we had the other day over at Big Mama's, and I made mention that North and South Omaha have been intentionally left out of this process.
Without a doubt.
And I stand behind that statement because what we saw was, we have the 75 North, and then it's been years upon years, and that's one development project. So we have to start saying, what else are we doing? Who is at the table when we're making these decisions? Because other people don't feel like there are other things happening.
Right. One of the criticisms I hear is that locals, Omahans, the one that are born here, are being excluded because most of the leadership are not born here. And majority of the boards, you see the same people on all the same. And so we get the same type of decisions and the same outcomes. I agree with you where we need some fresh blood. Also, relationships, which is I'm going back because to me, the most important thing is sitting everybody down at the table and convincing them to do something else with their money besides what they've been doing. Of course, we're a philanthropic community, one of the best in the country. However, we need to look at what they call it, urban investment, or I forget the term, where we look at like not just a startup collaborative, but a collaborator here in North Omaha, because we got great minds, but yet there's no collaborations in regards to incubators with these Fortune 500 companies. There's no collaboration where they can actually put money towards ideals. The pitch competition, they could fund a lot of that stuff. A lot of stuff can one billionaire can give us 60 million, all 60,000 of us and write it off. You know what I mean? We just want to talk about doing something bold like that. Because right now we're waiting year after year after year after year. And as you see, every administration down in the mayor office, if you go to the mayor office, it's all white. And all of them have left us out of the budget on purpose. And so we need you to win, I guess. We need you to win.
Yes, you need me to win.
We need you to win.
We need me to win. So go out on April 6th and vote for Jasmine. If you got your early ballot in the mail, fill in Jasmine Harris for mayor. And don't mail it in because it'll be too late. Take it to a drop box right now.
Okay. What other initiative would change in regards to what previous administrations? Because I'm lumping all of them because we still in the same condition. I'm 55 years old and we're still in the same situation. What would you do different? I know the mayor in Atlanta made sure that I forget his name, made sure that 30% of the contractor at the new airport wouldn't move forward until they have that black spin. I know there's been other mayors like Mayor Barry. Most people don't like him, but he hired the most blacks in government. And so he gave opportunities. Like I said, he was very inclusive to young and the professionals that stayed in Washington, D.C. We're gonna need a bold leader like that's doing something different than what all other administrations have done.
Yeah, we have to get out of the status quo. We're at a tipping point right now, and we need someone who's going to take us to that point and where we're ready to make that change, because people don't want to continue to wait. That's why you said we have all the young people, not all of them, but a lot of them who are leaving, whether that's African American, Latinx, and everybody is trying to figure out, where is my space here in Omaha, and why should I stay if I can't grow a business, if I can't grow within my company, if I don't feel welcomed and included. And we talk about housing and transportation. Those are all things that are important to young people too. So we have to start looking at it across the board. How are we going to grow our community, our city? When we're talking to voters and things, and the further west you go, you hear, well, we're okay. And it's like, you may be okay, but everyone else isn't okay. And shouldn't Omaha be better than okay? And in order for us to be better than okay, we have to get everyone there and then move Omaha forward together.
Right.
So when I'm looking at what can I do different, what am I going to bring different to the table? One, we have to ensure we are addressing the culture. And like you said, Douglas County Board of Health declared racism as a public health crisis here. And the city should be number one partner with Douglas County Board of Health addressing that. And with it being a public health crisis, me bringing in my background, knowing the models they're going to be using, knowing the partnerships and things that we need to have, I'm going to lead from that standpoint that we will address the systemic racism and oppression here. Because when I was a part of the young professionals, one of the things that came out of that was a survey where we saw that African-American young professionals were 5 to 6 times less likely to recommend Omaha as a place to work, live, or play. And then we partnered with the chamber and did a survey that really focused on Black young professionals and pulling information out of that. And it all had to do with not being able to grow within the company. There are no African Americans in C-suite executive positions, or very little. I'm not going to say none. So I was like, and at the bottom, when we got these recommendations and things, it's like, we always have to remember what's at the crux of this, and it's our race relations in this city.
Right.
So addressing that and setting the culture, because people always ask, well, how are you going to bring businesses here? Businesses don't want to come somewhere where the culture isn't welcoming and inviting for people, where there are going to be no people here to fill their jobs. So if we keep having people leaving all the time, there's going to be no businesses that want to stay or come in.
Well, I agree that, the mayor's responsibility is to bring people together and be bold and do something different besides doing the same thing over and over and getting the same outcomes. How can people get involved with your campaign?
Yes, you can go to voteforjasmine.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Jasmine for Mayor. We're also on Instagram, Jasmine L. Harris. We have all kind of volunteer opportunities. We have some stuff going on today. We have lit drops that are happening over in the Benson area. We'll be there for Benson First Fridays over at the Sydney. Come check us out. I'll be there talking, and we'll have opportunities to sign up for everything else we have going on. That we have phone banking, texting, donations always help.
Right. Now, you like a young lady. So you like in your 20s, honestly. So so how can you get people to get over that perception that you're young?
I do got a baby face, don't I?
I mean, you look young. So, and some people perceive that young people are not ready yet to lead. Just like you said, that young professional and the opportunity to be on these boards. I mean, how can we break that barrier? Because I remember getting out of college and wanting to lead and not getting that opportunity. Then I said, well, let me do this on my own. And so that's why I created things on my own, mainly because opportunities weren't given by elders all the time. So, but you gotta, it's good to have that's a good curse to look young, but also, people have different perception because you do look young. I mean, you're very intelligent. So
how do I overcome that? I don't know how I overcome the baby face, they say black don't crack. I don't know. But, I'm 40. I've, been in the community doing this work.
I want to ask your age.
No, it's Omaha World Herald put it out there. So it's out there. I'm not ashamed of it. Right. Because I have the life experience, and I have that skill set from work and things like that, and being in the community, knowing what people are going through.
Right.
And that's what we need. You have to listen to what people are saying versus checking in with your biases. Like I was saying with work, you gotta lower that and realize, what am I thinking within my mind that is preventing me from being able to connect with this person or hear what this person is saying. Like you said, it's the relationships, and that's where that piece is. We have to check what we're thinking about somebody from face value before we can even connect with them. And what I tell young people all the time, and which I did what you did too, don't wait to be invited to somewhere to get involved. If you have a passion about something, go to that room where that is, go to that table, bring your skill set, and like, this is how I can help. And people start recognizing you for what that is. And it's the hard work. And I tell everybody, all I got is my name. And I'm going to stand on my name, and everybody who knows me know I put in this hard work in this community and have been authentic throughout everything that I'm doing.
Without doubt. My mama said, don't be going out and mess up the family name. Without doubt. Your name means something. So you are a mother also?
I am. I have 3 children, 19, 7, and 6.
Okay, so are you multitask? You know how to multitask? Women know how are good multitaskers. And it's also it's time for some new leadership. Is that why you run some fresh blood, new ideas, and some visionary, bold actions?
Yes, I think it's at the end of the day, people can't stay in the seats too long.
Right.
When you start being stagnant, it's okay. What's new and innovative that we can bring in? What other ideas have we not heard that can move us forward? And honestly, Omaha's been stagnant for a long time. And so we need those new ideas. We need new leadership. And it's not just saying that you have to be young to be the new leadership. I remember one of the first positions I had out of college, and then the board director it was a performance evaluation. And he was like, you need to be more assertive. You have great ideas. And I think that's what it takes for people to be encouraged to get involved, because there are great ideas that are out there, but people don't feel like they belong in the rooms or at the table. So I think it's just, again, it's the inclusivity.
Right.
Like when we were doing the stuff with young professionals, and it's like, so what is a young professional? And everyone thinks that it's someone in a suit and tie working in corporate, and it's not that. It's you're a young professional in whatever job you do, and you do it well.
Without a doubt. I don't care if it's cutting grass, because I know a lot of people that cut grass making 6 figures.
Yes.
What did not talk about today that you want to make sure the audience know?
Yeah, I think it's just, I'm ready to be that leader who's going to be the partner, ready to work hard as everyone else does on day one. And that's what we need. We're in a fight for our future, and we can't continue to wait for the change that we continue to ask for and continue to advocate for. We need people in those places. So I'm ready to be that partner. I'm ready to work with Omaha, not from a top-down approach, but in the trenches with everybody else, building the Omaha together, because I'm here to build it with you and not, saying this is what's going to happen. Okay. And that's been one of the main things with the campaign. Everyone's like, so what are your policies? What's your platforms? I'm talking with people. I want to hear what people are saying. I want to know what people are going through as far as what they believe should be our priorities, and then putting that into the platform, because it's not just going to be Jasmine. This is going to be everybody who is coming to, because I'm bringing community to City Hall.
Great. And that's the best approach in a society, being a social scientist. Most time decisions are made from the top down. It's probably about maybe 5, sometimes 10 people to one person making this decision for the whole. You should get information from the whole, and then make that decision as a singular person once you get all the information. And so that's the correct way to lead. You get information from everyone, and then you apply what direction you need to go into. And so true leadership is sometimes follower. Is a good follower. A true leader is a good follower.
Yes, I don't know everything. I'm bringing people to the table who are experts in what they do, because they're doing this day in and day out. So when we're talking about our housing crisis and preventing homelessness, there are some organizations and people who are addressing this and doing great work. They need to be on the task force to build our plan and how we get ourselves out of this versus me saying, well, I know everything, because I don't.
Without a doubt. Well, it takes a neighborhood in order to, to build a city. Anything else that we need to get across today? How can people support your campaign?
Yes, go to voteforjasmine.com or follow us on social media at Jasmine for Mayor. We have events coming up this weekend. You can sign up to do phone banking, text banking. If you don't know what that is, that's calling voters, telling them to vote for Jasmine, or texting them. Very easy ways to get involved, because it's the voter outreach that's going to turn this out on April 6th. So again, vote for Jasmine if you haven't already voted.
What's your events this weekend?
Tonight we're at Benson First Fridays at the Sydney over in off of Maple, 60th and Maple, about 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay.
And then tomorrow we'll be down in the Little Bohemia area. Was that like 10th and is that Pacific?
Yep.
10th and Pacific area. And that's from like
area.
12 to 3, and then we'll be back at the Tiny House Bar at about 5, I think 5 or 6. They're all the events on that. They tell me where to go and what to do. I'm trying to remember everything we got going.
The Tiny House Bar. We have spirits at the Tiny House Bar.
There, if that's what you would like, and you can purchase.
Okay, we got some spirits, y'all. We got some spirits. All right. Omaha, the Burbs of Blessed. We are blessed to talk to a mayoral candidate, Jasmine Harris. She wants to be the next leader here in Omaha, Nebraska. You can reach out to her. Go to her website. What's that website again, Jasmine?
Voteforjasmine.com. VOTEASMINE.
You can support her by donating, volunteering. Volunteering goes a long ways.
Yes, it's a people power campaign. We didn't have, the mighty dollars coming in. Everything that we have raised has pretty much been small dollar donors. Okay. So greatly appreciative of people donating $5 a month or things like that, because we know equity, even when it comes to politics and getting involved, isn't there.
Yeah, collective economics is one of the greatest ways in order to get things done. On your campaign trail, what is one of the what are people telling you, or what do they want? Because I know when they sign signatures, they say, "Well, I want this," or this happened to me. I know you heard a lot of stories. What's been the consensus?
A lot of small business owners, they especially our Black and brown business owners. It's the access to capital to start their businesses. It's streamlining of processes to ensure that things are happening for them. So what we're hearing also is, like, we don't have the time to go find these forms and do things. So it's like, how are we streamlining these processes? I think you mentioned something about Atlanta, or when they're talking about the contracts for building and things like that. A lot of people don't even know where these contracts are. So it's, ensuring that we are looking from that standpoint of intentionally investing in our businesses owned by Black and brown folks. And then streamlining processes so that things are all in one place, so that people actually have an opportunity to be a part of getting these contracts and things like that.
Okay, great. Anything else that we didn't discuss that you want to make sure that we get across? I know voting is what 4 days?
Is it 4 days now? I keep waking up like, I don't know what day it is. 4 days away. People are already turning in their ballots. Again, I'm bringing in my public health and criminal justice reform background and policy advocacy, because that skill set meets the moment. There are other people who are running who are good people. I just believe that I have that skill set right now. Not talking points, but living the values when I'm talking about equity and inclusion, and ensuring that we are bringing people to the table and moving Omaha forward together. Again, it's about the coalition building. It's about ensuring that we're not working in silos and it's connecting. And I have all that experience in order to move Omaha.
Appreciate you stepping up. It says no other attribute can be developed unless courage is developed first. Yeah. And so we appreciate you. You are necessary. I'm glad I know your young people are proud of you. Without a doubt. Is it mama? I know they're proud of you, and I know you're proud of them. So Omaha, we listen to Jasmine Harris. She is a mother. She is a leader. She is a policy maker. She's an advocate for his community. She wears many hats, and she wants to lead Omaha. I believe she has the skill set. I was very proud that we have representation, especially you and Miss Snipes. From I got to be biased. I'm from North Omaha, and I went to school in South Omaha where Miss Snipes. Shouts out to Bears. And so sometimes we gotta this is our time. And so Omaha, make sure you guys get out and vote. April 6th, you can vote all day. The polls is open from 8 to 8.
Yes.
And make sure you said the ballots, they need to drop them.
Put them in an election drop box. If you put them in the USPS post mail, it'll be too late for them to grab them. So go to one of the drop boxes. I know there's one at the library on 28th and Ames, Charles Branch.
Yeah, they're at most libraries for sure. Mm-hmm. Or can they go to the election commission? Are the election commission
open? Yes, they
Saturday?
have the election commission. They are open tomorrow. Go to votedouglascounty.com. They have their hours on there. You can vote early in person tomorrow and Monday as well.
Okay. Anything else you want to get out? Because the other candidates coming in Monday.
I know, right? It's always the one you going first.
Yeah, you go first. You go first. I should say that. I should. And then they're gonna rebuttal you, but. No, I thought you did a great job at Big Mama, and so I'm glad you was able to come home. Hopefully, the community will get to know Miss Harris now, because sometimes when you get snapshots and they really don't get a chance to know you. Now they get a chance to know you. I didn't want to say your age. See, that's how you say. That's how you get around asking for the age, guys. You look young. You say, no, I'm this age, because they want to, show their maturity. No, she's 40, and so she's mature. I know she looks young, but she's mature. At 40, you're mature. You are developed in regards to your mind and where you want to go and what you've been doing. And so it's time for new leadership. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. Make sure you go to Jasmine.
Voteforjasmine.com.
All right. And you can get involved with her campaign. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. It is 3:38 today. We call it Black Friday. We are intentional on doing business with Black businesses. I want you guys, there's a new Black business. They came from all the way from St. Louis. They're located on 108th and Q. Yeah, we got business all over the community. And they're bringing that St. Louis flavor. It's called Rib Shack Smokehouse. Oh, man, I can smell it now. They got the ribs, they got the turkey, they got seafood, they got ringettes. And so if you guys are looking to support a Black business, that's one right now. They're open until 11 at night. Also, we got some community churches giving out. I think they're doing Lent today. They, first Good Friday.
Yes,
Good Friday. So you got St. Benedict and you got Clare Methodist. They're doing some fish over there. So if you guys are looking, you got to eat. So you might as well support some of the churches that are actually doing the work of God. Without a doubt. Jasmine, ladies go first, ladies go last.
Thank you so much, William.
Any shots out? You don't want to say no shots out? You want to say hi? Mama, you didn't say nothing about me, Mama.
No, because then I would have to charge it to my mind and not my heart. And so I don't say no names.
All right. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs. We are out of here. Again, we are blessed to hang out with Jasmine Harris. She is running for mayor of Omaha. Make sure you go to her website, y'all, and check her out. If you want to support her, get it done. The election is Tuesday from 8 to 8 is all day, baby. It's all day. We out of here, y'all. I got some guests coming up at 5 o'clock. They're going to be here. We got some comedians. They think they funny, man. I'm the funniest mug in Omaha. I'm lying. I'm the best dunker, though, for real. But no, we're going to have some comedians come in the house, and we're going to put a smile on your face, hopefully. Boss with us.
Awesome. Thank you.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with iTex, the country's largest retail trade exchange. iTex helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an iTex partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.
Tripnotic, Rel Rock, we going in. Trip naughty, yeah, let's get it. Sipping on that Tripnotic, it make me move my body. In a way I move my body, it makes the boys naughty. It's a known fact, I'm the life of the party. The name is Rel Rock, so you know I party hardy. Trip naughty, yeah. Trip naughty, yeah. Trip naughty. So seductive when I work my body. I'm tripping and I'm grooving. Naughty girl, body moving. I'm about to lose it. DJ, don't stop the music. Trip naughty, yeah. Trip naughty, yeah. Trip naughty. So seductive when I work my body. This track is lit, getting litty in the club and naughty when I trip. So playboy, don't trip. I'm just doing me. You haters can get a grip. Soul flavor, let my sauce drip. Bottles up, don't care how much it cost it. Me naughty, not nice. Man, I'm so throwed. I ain't even talking dice. I trip naughty. I work my body. I party hardy. We ain't gonna hurt nobody. Got the club going up so rowdy. Bosses all around me. Turned up, pose for the paparazzi. Trip naughty, yeah. Trip naughty, yeah.